Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday. We're
Good
live
morning.
here on the Not Just a Clean Lady podcast show. Today is Wednesday, May 17th. And Gray, how are you doing? Or how are we doing, I should say?
We're doing good. How are you doing, Ashley?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
We're getting some sun today. We've had some storms over the last few weeks, and it looks like now we're going to get, at least the next like 7 or 8 days with some sun, which is really cool. So we can get out there and, build some things and get our garden really
Get more
growing.
fences up.
Oh, yes. I know we've had a lot of rain too. It's been mostly in the afternoon times. I think it might rain again this afternoon for a little bit, but
Yeah.
Well, at least it keeps everything really green and beautiful in Texas and South Texas. We love South Texas.
Mhm.
And today, Ashley Russell from Ashley's Dream Clean is joining us today from South Texas. And so we're excited to have you here and learn a little bit about your journey and then your business, of course, and the different systems and everything that y'all use to operate your business. But let's start out with a quick intro. If you can just let everybody know a little bit about you and then how you got into the cleaning industry and why you chose the cleaning industry.
well, sure, of course. So I'm Ashley Russell down here in South Texas, currently out of Alvin. I don't know if anyone's familiar. We're kind of right in the center of Houston and Galveston. So about 30 minutes either way, and you'd be in one of the big cities. What brought us down here is my husband's career. So we followed that about 6.5 years ago or so, brought us down this way. And I never thought that I would be the owner of a cleaning business or even cleaning for a living, which is fine. I love it. But it's just funny how life will take you down these roads and lead you down these paths. And so I kind of just embraced my path. And when we bought our home, things didn't necessarily go as planned. We had to clean that place from top to bottom. It was really bad. The contract was basically breached. They were supposed to have it professionally cleaned by someone like us, and they didn't do that. And then they promised to have it done again. Still didn't happen. We ended up having to do it all. And it's not just your basic move-in cleaning that you guys are probably thinking. It was bad. So it was just really bad. And that really pushed me and ignited this passion accumulated with staying at home and having a brain that's constantly going and needing something to fulfill your time. I thought, what is something that I'm really good at that I can make money and I don't have to go follow this corporate ladder or go out and spend 4 to 8 years in college trying to gain a degree that may not even get me that kind of a job. So I was thinking, what can I do? I'd always had good positions where I'd worked. I feel like been a leader and was acknowledged as a leader in most places I'd worked. And I felt like I had to have something that was mine and that I knew that I could do well at and that there was a market for it. And clearly there was a market for cleaning because, I needed that service and it didn't happen. And so I kind of started off in that mindset as a client almost that needed that fulfillment, needed that professional service, needed that clean environment for their children and for their family. We had already enrolled our kids in school down here. We had already spent thousands of dollars to have a moving truck and all of our things were on the highway headed this direction. And so it was like, we had no choice, they breached the contract, but we're in it, we're already here. So, and, we had to do what we had to do. And I didn't want anybody else to experience what I had experienced. It was just horrible. And so all of those things tied together in my mind. And I just thought one day, let me make a quick Facebook post and see what happens. So I joined some local groups on Facebook, advertised that I was looking to earn some money of my own and, kind of start a cleaning thing. And it just kind of started very small, but then over time it grew. And my confidence grew in what I was doing. And I gained a lot of knowledge because then once my confidence started growing, that passion and that want to became more. There was more of a drive there. So, I want to be better and I want to be even better and I want to get even better and I want to do more and more and more. And so I started learning and researching and trying to teach myself. And I started seeing a lot of gaps in the industry too. I found a lot of those along my journey. And so my goal for my business is to just make the best impact that I can in my local community try to be a voice for other cleaners that may not be there yet. You know, that's just where it's at, man. I've just got a passion to make a difference. And it just so happened to be a cleaning path for me.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So along the way, and this is what, year 6, year 7 now for you?
Yes, this will be going into the 6th year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like quitting or giving up along the way over the last 6 years?
Many times.
Yeah. What kept you on the right path when you felt that, like, despair or
Heaviness,
whatnot,
yeah.
that heaviness, that comes upon you and says, you know what, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe there's something else. I'm not good enough or whatever. What drew you back, and did it make you stronger?
It absolutely made me stronger. To give you a little bit, when you first start any business, I believe you're going to be excited. You're going to be happy and like think that, oh my gosh, this is mine. I've done this all by myself. And like, look what I'm doing. And you're kind of like on this high of accomplishment.
Right.
And then people tell you, well, they told me, and I'm sure they tell others too, along the way, something's going to happen eventually, and blah, 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 blah. Or they'll kind of try to feed you that negativity that, oh, it's all perfect now, but just wait. You're going to get that one that's going to try to leave you a bad review, or you're going to get that one that's going to be difficult to handle, or whatever the case may be. But it just hadn't happened yet. And you're always thinking, or in my mind, I was thinking, oh, it'll never happen to me. It'll never happen to me because I do so good, right? Well, they were right. It does happen. And in the beginning, when those things started to happen, that was very discouraging. And when you work so hard and you build up so much and you get knocked down like that, it does make you want to quit. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and it makes you want to give up, and it makes you second guess what you're doing. Am I cut out for this? Like you said. But what keeps me going is knowing that you're not always going to be able to please everyone, no matter what. Despite
right.
A1+ ratings, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be negative things that are going to happen when you're running a business, and that's just life. But my kids, my family, my daughter especially, I've got 3 boys and 1 daughter, and for all of them, but my daughter especially, I want her to see that she can do this by herself. She can do life by herself. She doesn't, whether it be cleaning or whatever, if you put your mind to something and you start something, don't give up on yourself. No matter what happened, no matter what they said, no matter any of those things, just keep going. So I want to show her that. And my sons, of course, too, but really her, because it's so hard for a woman in the world sometimes to compete in this man's world. The corporate things and all that, having a good job, making a career for yourself is kind of what I'm getting at. It's harder. And so I just want her to see that it's possible, whether it be cleaning, your art, whatever it is. Don't give up on yourself. So
you're absolutely right. Now there's even more challenges for women trying to compete in, sports and different things or whatnot. But it always seems like there is an attack on women. And I think that's been something that's really been happening from the beginning of time. And I just wanted to say this one thing about what Ashley was talking about. And we've heard it said that being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is like living a manic bipolar life, right? Because there's never any just regular days, right? There's either really good days or there's just really shitty days. Or
there's like
days,
a really good day and then something happens and like you forget that there's anything good. It just like all goes out the window and you're spiraling downward.
Right. And that's our human nature too. I mean, as humans, we're just going to do that. But to get to a more specific point for Kevin's question, my family, I will never give up for them and for the industry because it means so much to me. I feel like I try to set an example. So you can't give up. There's other people out there that are just starting. And, I want them to realize, don't give up. Like, you can do it despite what happens, despite what they say. Any of that stuff doesn't matter. Just do you,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Ashley, you said that you thrived through COVID,
Yes.
and that you didn't shut down even for a day.
Nope.
I know, Texas, and then like our company, we were in Washington State at the time. We still have our team up there, but during COVID, we also didn't shut down. Were you in the AHCA group during that time?
I was not. So COVID hit. It was so crazy. Like we bought the house, and then like 4 months later, Hurricane Harvey ran through here.
Oh,
Our house
right.
was fine, but like it was just so crazy. I'd never lived in South Texas before, and then shortly after that, here we are with the pandemic. COVID-19 comes along. So it was like, really? And I had only started my cleaning business, gosh, maybe a year before COVID hit, if that.
Where did y'all move from to South Texas?
Northeast Texas. So
Okay.
always been in Texas, but we were in Paris originally.
Okay.
Right.
Texas, yeah, up that way. But anyway, yeah. So when COVID hit, it was crazy, and it was almost like a call to all cleaners, professional cleaners. It was the market was there. I mean, the need was there. So there was no reason for me to shut down unless I was sick. And by the grace of God, He blessed me. I didn't get sick during the pandemic. I was able to work every day I had work. And another thing that allowed us to thrive through that time was, I did a lot of networking with other local companies, and even on social media, it would take me down paths to where I would meet other companies out of state. So I had met some companies in Arkansas and Louisiana and Kentucky even, and started collaborating with them a little bit. And it was a pandemic, and it was like, oh, we're all on the same team now. Like we got to come together because this is a pandemic and we've got to fight this germ, like that's like we were getting ready to go. And there were some larger companies that I was collaborating with that already had large contracts with lots of chain restaurants and things like that. So during the pandemic, it opened up a door for a lot of that kind of business. And it opened up a door that allowed my foot to get in with some of that type of contracts and business. So we ended up doing Starbucks cleanings, COVID cleanings for Starbucks restaurants all over the state of Texas during the pandemic.
Wow.
We had constant work, and the pay was very good, especially being in a pandemic. A lot of the COVID cleans were COVID cleans. All of them were, because there was a COVID positive or suspicion of COVID in the workplace. So they shut it down. They call the cleaning service. You go in there and you do a full COVID clean on it. So I kind of had to go through a crash course of COVID cleaning, through these companies that were providing this specific material that they wanted us to have and they wanted us to know. So, there was a scope of work for each one that we followed. We followed EPA guidelines, all the CDC guidelines, kind of did, individual training, if you will, researching on your own, because there really wasn't there other than what you guys provide through the AHCA, which is amazing, and we've needed it for so long. So thank y'all. There was not anything like that when the pandemic hit, and that's getting back to that. I didn't know about the AHCA when the pandemic hit. So if you guys were part of, if y'all were there, I didn't know about you, and so it just all kind of happened all at one time. But we did thrive. We did thrive through COVID. And it, like I said, it led us to a lot of really good, strong work relationships in the industry that I still have to this day. The COVID cleans, of course, have subsided for the most part. You still get them every now and then, but not like they were during the height of the pandemic.
Right.
Well, the World Health Organization just said yesterday, I think, or the day before, that the COVID pandemic is over and now it's time to prepare for the next pandemic. And so now here we are, and when it happens again, we'll be ready to step up and serve our communities. So 6 years later, here you are. You're grown a successful business. We see awards behind you. Tell us about some of those awards behind you, certificates, and achievements that y'all have accomplished now.
Thank you. Now, all of it's not all just from the cleaning business. It's kind of like my personal achievement wall, guys. So It's not all just from Ashley's Dream Clean. I grew up on a farm, so I showed animals. I showed hogs and chickens when I was younger. I was in FFA and 4-H. So I'm still in the process of hanging up all my numbers from that. But that's kind of what those are, and these ribbons are. Those are from my awards back then when I was younger. And then up on top of the Texas picture, there's 2 belt buckles. I had Grand Champion Hogs and Chickens one year. So got my belt buckles there. Thank you. And that's the purple banner goes with those. And then up a little higher is our Reader's Choice Award. I'm very proud of that one. That is ADC. That's a local award that we won last year for the Brazoria County Reader's Choice for the top 3 cleaning services in Brazoria County. We were ranked number 3. The one that won first place, we actually do a lot of work with her. She's a wonderful lady, great company. Even second place, they actually, Southern Maid Janitorial. I don't know her very well, but it's very cool. I'm just going to share this. If you watch this, Southern Maid, shout out to you. But they did a beach house cleaning and remodel that was aired on the home network on TV.
Oh, so cool.
It was aired on the home remodeling network or some kind of show they had on TV. So very, very cool. So it was an honor to be placed up so high with companies that are doing such very awesome things. And then I'm a big fisher. I'm a lady angler. So I've got my Texas Parks and Wildlife certifications for advanced and basic fishing. And then I have my American Red Cross bloodborne pathogen certification, which pertains to our cleaning service. That allows us to clean up any bloodborne pathogens properly, and we're trained on that. And then, of course, last but not least, to save the best for last, is my AHCA certification through with Kevin and Grace. So I take a lot of pride in that too. It's really helped boost the confidence in the technicians as well. Getting certified. I've still got a couple that are lagging here on getting their stuff done. But hey, it's a on your own pace process is how I see that. And I want them to absorb that knowledge because it's so great and valuable. So if it takes you a long time, then at least I know you'll be really ready when you're done.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's about all I got up there though. And I've got a little ad that we had in a magazine. I thought it was cool. It's like my first ad that we ever had in a magazine. That's always nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we had our first ad that we put in a
phone book
for a while. I don't know if we have it anymore, do we?
Probably. This is over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago, but they literally, so we paid for the ad in the phone book, like a quarter-page ad. And it was like over $1,000. That was a lot of money for us back then. I mean, that still is a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Sure,
and
yeah.
for us, it was like a huge investment and like really like pushing our limit. Mm-hmm. And then they failed to distribute any of the phone books that year. So, and we couldn't like ask for a refund because I guess the distributors are different than the actual print. So since they printed it, we like still owed that money and we had to pay that money.
I wonder if anybody's advertising. If you're watching on replay or watching now and you advertise in the phone book, let us know in the comments if it's working for you. Just curious. I used to sell yellow page ads and digital marketing. And so I'm just wondering if that's still a viable way to advertise. So Ashley, what would you say that the biggest challenge that you're facing right now in taking your business to the next level? I know that you probably can see the next level. You know that's where you want to go, and you're working towards that. What would you say, if anything? Maybe there's not anything, but if there is anything, what is kind of your biggest challenge there of climbing that mountain?
Honestly, it's probably I'm still kind of I don't know how many of y'all do contractors and how many of y'all do employees. But I'm still on contractors. So all of my people are contractors at this time. I would like to move to getting them as employees, but it's a scary transition. I'm just going to be honest. I'm a little scared because it's a world that I'm very unfamiliar with. And I know there's a lot more withholding on my end that I have to do. So I guess that's a struggle right now. But then the other struggle would be growing is one thing, and hiring individual employees or contractors, whatever suits your boat, is one thing. But I would like to kind of do what was done for me during COVID as a company and contract out other companies to do, larger jobs like commercial jobs or move-ins or move-outs, higher paying jobs that would be worth them wanting to take and me giving, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And I guess it's finding companies that will trust and that are willing to work with you. that is a big battle. It's almost like everything has to be a huge competition, but it
Right.
needs to be that way. And like I said earlier, I got kind of where I'm at now because I followed another cleaning company. And there's nothing wrong with that. I wanted to learn from them. And that's the difference, is I wanted to learn and I wanted to become more. And that's what it took at the time for me to do that. And so I just wish that I could find more companies that would be willing to work with each other with that way. Not necessarily just me, but overall as an industry, because then we could, I feel like, make a bigger impact, So that's one of my struggles too.
Why would you want to? Can you share with us your thoughts on why you would want to convert from 1099s to W-2s?
Yes, I think after doing 1099s for 5+ years now, I've learned a lot, and it's kind of like a baseball game, but over here 1099s are playing the game different than the employees are, and there's kind of different rules and regulations for this game than there are for this one, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And with the 1099 contractors, it's a risk that you take hiring them to do work for you, because they have to be insured on their own. And yes, I can verify a piece of paper one day, but that doesn't mean that they're consistently keeping that. So that's a risk. I've come into my contractors stealing my clients. I've had that happen more than once. That's very discouraging, and it's just a nasty situation. Every time it's different, and every time it's just bad, regardless, And I'm tired of going through that. And I know that same risk could be done with an employee, but I feel like they would be more invested in my business versus the contractors. I would be able to provide more for them than I can the contractors. I can't give them any of their stuff. I can only give them a guideline of what I would like for them to use, and what I can tell them what's appropriate to use, but they have to provide all of that. As an employee, I would have more control over the logistics of day-to-day business versus, okay, here's a job. Can you take it? Okay, yes. When can you do it? It's just a whole different dynamic dealing with the contractors. Not to say I'm tired of it. I'm comfortable with that. I've been doing it a while now. So, I'm consistent with that, but I'm ready to make that change. I'm just scared. I'm scared. I'm not sure how it's all going to go. I don't really even know where to start. I've talked to a few people. But again, it's a big transition.
Yeah, I think everything you said, Ashley, is spot on. And I think every company has to decide like what works best for them. But I know with our company, I think it's about finding your style. And we started out doing contractors and then realized that we couldn't do that in Washington State. Like you can do it here in Texas, you can do it in places like Alabama, or like it just depends on what state you're in, maybe even Idaho. So we couldn't do that there. So we switched over to the W-2s. We lost like half our team because we had to pay them less, because Washington State, they monopolize like the workman's comp. The state provides it, and you pay like 4 or 5 times as much there as you would here in Texas.
Here, I just want to throw this in.
As you do here in Texas.
Texas is the only state that does not require workers' comp. All 49 other states do. Texas. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and
no,
so
yeah. Go ahead. No, we don't have state taxes either.
Yeah,
that's
right, exactly. And so it's a little bit more simple here in Texas, like making comparison between our employees here and then our employees in Washington. Like Washington has like a slew of stuff that you have to report to and send your numbers into, and the program that we use is ADP. So it's kind of simplifies everything for you. And we're going to be bringing them on here soon to answer questions and everything. But I think here in Texas, you're probably going to have an easier transition over to the W-2s because there is less regulation here.
Sure.
But ADP will really help with that. Like just get it all set up for you on the back end, like with the government, and they'll send in everything that, you're not going to have to like send your 941s every quarter. You're not going to have to, send in checks
Yeah, they do
to
it all
like
for you.
the treasury or whatever. Yeah. So like they did all
think
that kind of
that was frustrating too, is I noticed that after the pandemic and everything's kind of settled down now, they've offered like all these grants and these different things to companies that had employees during the pandemic. Well, I didn't have employees, but we
Right.
worked our hind end off and we were on the front lines of that pandemic.
Right.
But we don't qualify for any of those things because we didn't have employees. So that's another reason why I kind of want to go that route too, because then it opens my business up to all those other doors that we could possibly go through in the future if need be. And so I want to be able to give my company and my team the best possible. And it just seems like that's the best logical way. I just haven't quite got there yet.
Yeah, it really is. And we really encourage you to, really believe that, going through this transition is going to really level you up to the next level.
It will.
Here's the thing, when you make that change, your team, your team is going to really start to blossom, because it's that building and doing something great together as a team under the unity of
your company's
ADC
name
and y'all's leadership, right? And then really making a difference in your local community, and then being able to reinvest back into your employees, raise y'all's rates, raise their pay, add more benefits or whatnot. And so, as soon as you have that strong, solid courage to do it, it's a lot easier than than everything that's going on in your mind saying, what about this? What about that? Oh my gosh. When you do it, you'll have to come up with a handbook, a company mission, some uniforms or whatnot. And then, like Ray said, ADP will handle all the heavy lifting, and it's really affordable. And and they just really make it easy for W-2 employers.
Well, and y'all have that handbook template too as a resource for the AHCA members, which I've already got. I've printed it out and I've gone through it. I love the way it's put together. There's a lot of pages there. I don't think that they'll all read it, but at least they have it. But yeah, I think I would. Are we able to kind of mimic that a little?
Yeah, yes, it's all y'all. So just you put your logo on there, take stuff out, add stuff to it. Make it your own.
We also have a more custom employee guidebook, basically like a handbook that's more just geared towards our company. It has a code of ethics and everything. I thought I put that in the resources. I know I've said this twice now.
Yeah, you may have.
Yeah.
Check.
But I'll have to double check, because I think that would also help you. I think one of the great things about having 1099s is that sense of freedom and independence. And so like with our teams, we really try to combine the whole family feel, but then also that exclusive trust that we have for each one of our employees, that they're going to work as a team, that they're going to respect the equipment that they're given charge of. They take care of all their supplies and equipment. We provide it all, but they wash their rags. They clean out their vacuums. This is theirs. They treat, everything that we give them like it's their own, because we give it to them. And then also having that ability to have it like a family, but then also give them that flexibility of customizing their own schedules, as long as there's good communication. There's no reason we don't own brick and mortars, know. We can work with, a lot of our employees are moms, not necessarily single, but they're moms. And that's that kind of throws a wrench in getting a lot of jobs. As you, I'm sure I know we have kids. We've both been stay-at-home. We both been stay-at-home moms, and it's hard to juggle everything. So it's really a blessing for our employees to be able to come into our companies, and we don't say you have to be available from 9 to 5 every single day. And if you're not, and I feel like that's a bad, it just gives a bad mojo and it kind of deteriorates that trust and also the benefit of working for a cleaning service is that, we can be flexible it just takes a little bit more work, but it's worth it in the long run. So
For sure. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to check for that on there on the resources.
okay.
So a lot of
Exactly.
people in the industry, a lot of people in the AHCA community are having a hard time finding quality employees. Are y'all experiencing that down in South Texas? And what are you doing? What systems are you using? Where are you advertising? How are you growing y'all's team?
Well, this is going to be a problem that's going to be ongoing well past our years. This has been a problem that's been ongoing before our years, and it's in every industry and every business. But in the cleaning industry, it's pretty bad, though.
Yeah, it's like the worst.
Turnover is horrible. It's just horrible. I can't explain it. The only thing I can logically come up with as to why it's hard to keep and find and keep people in this industry is that it is hard labor. It's physical work. A lot of people don't want to clean a toilet, or they think they do. They do it a few times and then they start slacking in that area because they don't enjoy it. So it's not enjoyable work for a lot of people. I think that I have struggled with it. And then when I do find someone that is good and I get them trained, I certify them through the AHCA, they steal my clients. And then they go off on their own. And now they're trying to start their own thing. But they've started it off with poor character. So I don't see them being successful.
Exactly.
However, it happens though. And it happens to us all the time, to all of us all the time. And so that's been my biggest thing is I get them, I train them, we build a great relationship. I haven't been given an explanation as to why they want to leave. I don't ever get that from them. I don't ever get where you're not getting paid enough. Was it the hours? Like, was it the jobs? Did you not like those specific homes? Like, what was it? I've never been able to put my finger on that because the communication goes very downhill once that breach of trust is broken. And so then it's hard to have these conversations. So I guess that kind of leads me to, knowing now what I know and what I've experienced moving forward, I have been making it a point since those things have happened to be more communicative with my technicians, try to check on them more often than not, even when there's nothing going on, even when the jobs are all fine and there's no issues, still need to talk to them and communicate. Having that door open has made a difference in the last few that I've brought on board. I feel very confident with them. But again, you just never know. I felt very confident with some before and got stabbed in the back. So it's just the nature of the business, I guess. They see that you can make this much money, X amount of dollars. They see how easy it is to land a home sometimes. Oh, I just make a Facebook post and I can get them on my own. So, a lot of people see that and then they want that on their own. So then they just leave, and then they start making their little side money, whatever budget they have, whatever they need to meet, they meet it. And then they forget about the industry. And then the ones like us are left picking up all the pieces, of, oh, I had this person come, they did a crap job.
Right.
Who knows what their backstory was. They could have worked for a cleaning company like mine or yours, gotten trained, did good for a while, and now they're just trying to, go after money whenever they can because they have that background. So now they just go and run through a home, take advantage of people, and then never go back, but then they do it again somewhere else. So it's like this revolving door of just crap. And I really don't understand what the problem is. I feel like the cleaning industry has a potential to hold positions that are very prideful. Just take a lot of pride in that. You should be very proud of what we're doing. And, I know I am. And I know there's other people out there that have got to be proud too. It's just most of them already own their own business. So it's like, well, I need people like you on my team, so how do we make the people that don't want to own their own company feel the way we feel about our industry? That's what's got to change.
That's how it's going to get fixed there.
And I think we've done a pretty good job with our team. I think the W-2s is a big part of it, Ashley. Like I said, when we had 1099s, we lost half our team when we switched over. And even before we switched over, they were already starting to get like nasty with us, and we were very communicative and like and paid them very well, but they wanted more and they wanted more and they wanted more. And so that kind of like after you experience that, like you just don't even want to go back to 1099, because it's like you said, you want to find people who want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and not like, I think a lot of times the 1099 type people will come in, use you for the connections, use you for the training, use you for the certificate, and then they feel free to move on. Well, like you said, they're starting their companies without character. And another interesting part is those clients that leave you, they also don't have character to like sit there and leave you. So in a way, it kind of gets rid of those bunk clients and bunk, people.
Yes, they were blessings in disguise. Yes, they absolutely were blessings in disguise. A couple of them hurt a little more than others, just because the clients I'd had, they were some of my very first clients I'd ever gotten. Right. And this all just happened within the last 8 months. So, and so to lose those people after that many years, it was just kind of like, what? And those people were friends of the original clients that I had. So I didn't make the original bond with those clients. They were referrals from, others of mine. However, it still was just, it was hurtful. It was just hurtful. And then the lack of communication on the client's part too was hurtful. It was like, really? Like, you didn't even talk to me about it.
I think deep down they're ashamed of themselves. They know that they did something shady, and
I guess it's just mind blowing to me, because I've had it go both ways. I've had one of the very first technicians I ever had on board. She expressed to me that she wanted to start her own company, and I was all about supporting her. Of course, I didn't want to lose her. She's amazing. She's so good. She's good to this day. Kristen, shout out to you if you watch. But I helped her. She communicated with me about that. She told me, this is what I want to do. There's a way to go about that, and then to not go about it. And so to this day, the girl runs her own cleaning service in the same area that I work in. There's plenty of work for us all, guys. And she's great. She got a 5-star rating. Her company is contracted under mine for a commercial job as well. So she cleans a law office for me once a month. And so it's like, we still work together, but she's doing her own thing. And I support her. But the other ones that go behind our backs and do it that way, I mean, why would you want to support someone like that? But then it makes it hard as a leader in the industry, because I want to be that example too. So it puts you in a place of, okay, do I just not support them at all? Or should I try to have a conversation with them from a good human perspective, human to human, like, look, what you did was not okay, but if this is really what you want to do, you're still in my industry and I care about that. So I want to make sure that when you do it right, and you do it well, and you do these people right. So as a leader, I've been thinking about that a lot too, because I could reach out to a couple of them and just try to have an adult, real conversation. No negativity at all. I really, truly, it's coming from a good place. But, it makes it hard. Our industry is hard. It's hard to navigate sometimes, but staying positive is key.
Yeah. I think that our industry is especially difficult. I know every industry is, but I think ours is especially difficult because, number one, the pride is like, there's more pride in our industry now than there ever has been, because the AHCA started, and that has been bleeding out to the entire country and sprinkling through the world right now. Just that recognition of how skilled and necessary this trade is. If we didn't have cleaners, it should be up there with the necessities of life.
Right.
If you don't have clean water, we're dead. If we don't have a clean environment to lay our head at night and to like a place to bathe, we're dead. Like, we need cleanliness, clean food. Everything depends on cleanliness. And so I think really instilling that pride in our teams through the courses, and then also just our communication and like giving them having conversations about the chemicals and the clients, and like just really treating it like they are doing a profession, even though it hasn't been spelled out in some university, and the universities across the country, they haven't put cleaning up there with all the rest of the careers. Even in trade schools, there's really no trade schools for cleaning either. And honestly, there's so much to learn. You could get a PhD in cleaning. There's so much to learn. We're constantly learning, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And I really think a lot of our team members have been with us like going on 10 years, and we continue to, I think pay is a huge part of it too. It's like we can't pay professional cleaners who are going to do a good job and work their butts off and tear their bodies up and everything, and just pay them like they're flipping burgers,
Right.
or they're doing something really simple that like a teenager could do, and then, while they're in school or whatever, and then drop off. That's not the kind of work that I want done in my home. You know what I mean? Like, and I can understand, just like you came home to that place
Buying a house.
where y'all are living now, and like it wasn't cleaned properly.
No.
Maybe they hired a cleaning company and just didn't do a good job.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they did.
So putting a lot of focus on the pride, and then also constantly telling your team, we want to pay you more. We want to pay you more. We have to do this as a team. We have to do a rock star job. We have to be a team. And then keep adding those benefits and surprise them like every couple of months with raises, benefits, new things that you're doing for them. And really showing them that you want to provide this as a career opportunity. And I think that's the game changer in our industry, is treating it like a career opportunity, and having the team on board with that, and that they're part of making that happen throughout the industry, starting with your company.
Yep,
Sure.
that's exactly how you get it done. And so for all y'all listening on the podcast, and then also in the AHCA community, to grow in today's 2023 and beyond, there's never been a more exciting time to be in the professional cleaning industry. I was looking up cleaning industry news. I do it every few days. I did it just before the show today. And all I'm seeing is the cleaning industry is skyrocketing. It's growing. By the end of this year, 80% of American homes are going to employ a cleaning service. And also I'm seeing that commercial cleaning is getting a little bit more riskier. Why? Because they're coming up with all these laser things and these bots and these floor cleaners and everything. So what does that mean? That means that, where to be is residential cleaning. And so the challenge that we have, the number one challenge that we have, and we're going to get to systems in a second, but I just wanted to recap on what Grace was saying. If you want to grow a successful residential team, you got to do several things. One, like Grace said, you have to educate your team and lead your team, not manage your team, lead your team. And Ashley had mentioned, some people think that they want to clean a toilet, and then after they do it, they decide that they really don't dig it. Well, it's our job as leaders to not just educate our team and let them know and show them what an important role they have in the local community and the lives that they're affecting, but also we need to get in front of our local community. Everybody in South Texas should know Ashley Russell's name and recognize Ashley Russell's face. Why? Because they should see her on social media every few days talking about the importance of cleaning, the skill, the high level science stuff behind it, how cleaning has double life expectancy, right? So doing these things, and then leading your team and being part of something bigger than just Ashley's Dream Clean, but a national movement of professionalizing the cleaning industry, and then not wanting to grow, hire on, have a team of 60, but rather, having a team of 10 and getting to that $1 million revenue a year mark and beyond. Do you want to have 60 employees to make $1 million, or 10 employees to make $1 million, right? So raise your rates where you charge high rates for the best professional cleaning job, and you have a small team. And so that's really where you want to be, is less houses, less team members, higher rates, higher pay,
higher quality clients,
and then slowly you'll start growing. And there's never been a better time to grow a professional residential cleaning industry than right now, today, and into the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely good. Great advice. Yes, sir. I agree.
Let's talk about systems. Ashley, this is a hot topic. Folks in the AHCA community constantly asking, what do you do for punch in, punch out? What do you do for software? What systems do y'all use in y'all's business to just, operate the business?
Well, I don't have a tech team or anybody that helps me with Facebook or a website or anything like that. So everything I've got, I've built myself or created myself. I just went with a Weebly site. So we utilize Weebly software. We pay a monthly subscription for that to have an online presence. Our website is not that great. You're welcome to check it out. I built it myself, and as soon as I got everything on there, I was like, okay, it's done. Woo! I kind of moved on to everything else. Now, for me personally, I only wanted the website. One, of course, because we live in a technology age, you kind of have to have an online presence. So just to have the presence, and then two, to get customers to enter that form. So there's a form entry feature on the website that they can submit, and then it gives me an email. Sorry, there's a fly in here. It sends me an email, and then I know to reach out to them and try to get them quoted, whatever the case may be. So I really use the website for that and that only. And despite how unmaintained it is, I get traffic on it every day. So, and I get forms almost every day, not every day, but very regularly. I'm getting a submission. So, sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys, to gain clients on a website, as long as you've got an online presence. But I do highly recommend looking into getting someone that can help you with that. I think I'm going to be considering something like that too. Anyway, and then the other software is Jobber. We use Jobber, found out with Jobber through Kevin and Grace through the AHCA. They offer a discounted rate for cleaning service providers if you're a member through the AHCA. So we took advantage of that. And at the time, I was actually looking for a scheduling software. That's kind of been my biggest need for something software-wise. It's just having a schedule, because my office manager works remote. She's 7 hours away from me, so we don't have any physical interaction ever, really. So I'm not able to give her papers or give her copies of things. It's all got to be done over the internet, email, and having our schedule to where we can both go to it and look at the same thing is great. So I love that feature that Jobber offers. We pay a monthly subscription for that. And then we've got our QuickBooks, of course, which is what kind of keeps the business end of things going. I'm sure most of y'all are familiar with QuickBooks. So it logs all your miles, your transactions, kind of keeps you on track. If you're actually able to invoice through QuickBooks too, if anyone didn't know that, they do have that feature. And then we use a couple of small apps that are on my cell phones that I use to kind of keep me organized with my Facebook content. So I've downloaded a few apps that I subscribe to every month. I use Canva and a couple other ones. I don't even know my phone's down here. And I just, pay the $12 or whatever it is a month for a couple of these. And they really help enhance your social media content. Mm-hmm. You're able to create stuff on there real easily. I'm sure there's some free versions of stuff like that out there, but I really like what I'm using. That's about it. That's as far as software goes. It's all I use right now. Total wise, it does add up to, a few $100s, if not more, a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do add up after a while, huh? All the
yeah, it is a little bit of an investment, but that's what it takes to keep things flowing smoothly and everything running right. And so I'm glad Facebook's free.
Is Facebook, is that like your number one advertising platform?
If it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't have a business right now the way I have. Facebook is what launched me completely. That first little post that I made on my personal profile, I didn't even have a business page or anything at that time. This is just little old Ashley in Alvin. I come clean your house. That's how it started. But Facebook was the platform that started it all for me. And then it just kind of grew. Facebook had that feature, you can create a page. And once the clientele was enough to where I felt that was necessary, I did that. And I use Facebook constantly for my business. Facebook Messenger is a main hub for communication for my clients. Just about every single client I've got is in that messenger. The ones that are not are word of mouth or people that knew somebody that knew me that were referred personally and were through texting. Like that's how we communicate, and email. But other than that, that Facebook is great. I love it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we've used Facebook a lot. It really is a really great tool for like bringing the community together and like making yourself known as a business on a more personal level, because a lot of people go there for like when they're keeping up with family and friends to see pictures and everything and share their lives. And so I say it's the best platform for really growing like a presence in your community. Still, there's a lot of things about Facebook that make us really mad, but we have to forget about those things and use the platform for what it's good for. So,
I mean, it's free. It's a free service. I mean, and honestly, it offers a lot for it to be free.
It does.
It offers a lot. So I really enjoy using Facebook. And then, of course, our email and stuff. That's all the softwares we really use. We haven't invested in too much more than that. I don't see the need for it. Cleaning industries are pretty, on the business side, it's pretty basic. I mean, we know what you need: scheduling. You need to be able to keep your people, your team together. So some sort of organization for that. And then your client files. I mean, there's really not a lot else that we have to manage. Our expenses. But those are, you can keep those things pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, especially when you have automations like QuickBooks. And I would say something that you might want to consider doing, Ashley, at this point with 9 employees, especially during your transition from W-2, maybe right after your transition to W-2, if you aren't there to pick up the phone, and even if you are, you can be spending time building instead of picking up the phone. But we have this service called Posh, and it's like a receptionist service.
Actually, I've actually spoken to them already. Yes.
Oh, you have?
I did, yes. I spoke with them already. I kind of filled them out a little bit. I don't think I'm quite ready to make that leap just yet. What I ended up doing is I have my cell phone, but then I have a personal cell phone now too. So I ended up getting another cell phone. So when I want to just ignore this thing, I'll just ignore it, However, I know someone told me, if that business phone rings, it's always got to be answered no matter what. So I feel guilty about doing that sometimes, but I'm just in the position to where I'm the only one that answers the darn thing. So sometimes I have to just not, for my own sanity.
Right.
Yep. So definitely we'll probably consider that though. Thank you. And thanks for sharing the Posh. The last time y'all did something, I don't remember what it was for. That's where I discovered them, and I had reached out at that time because I thought, wow, what a convenient service. And my phone's just always dinging or ringing or something. So
I know. I don't know about you, Ashley, but I'm a very busy person. I know you are too. And like when my phone rings, I immediately feel annoyed.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't want to pick up the phone if I'm feeling annoyed.
Later for feeling that way, because I'm like, those people don't know what I have going on. They just want to know about my service, and it's my job to give that to them. But I'm tired, y'all.
Yeah.
Not right now. It's just a battle. Yeah.
When you're ready, you'll know it. And for anybody listening, if you're thinking, something like that costs, let's say $300 a month or whatnot, and I'm not. It'll pay for itself the first month because why? Because one call that you miss, and let's say a regular biweekly client on average $3,000 a year, $3,400 a year, right? One call that they take that you would have missed, and maybe it's even at 10 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning. Who knows when it is? But then after that, I mean, it's paid for, and so it's definitely not an expense. It's an investment. It will help you take your business to the next level. We're running out of time here. Real quick, we wanted to bring up, you had mentioned in your bio that you're offering mentorship to individuals that are, thinking about, taking the first step or whatnot into growing their business, or maybe they're not legal yet and they want to get legal. If somebody's in that position, they wanted to reach out to you for mentorship, how do they get a hold of you?
Yes, absolutely. You can call me or text me on my cell. It's on my business page, Ashley's Dream Clean LLC. I think that it might be somewhere on here if you guys don't have it. I can put it in the comments of the replay video for anyone that's interested. That'd probably be the easiest way. Or you can reach out on my business page. But I know we're running out of time super fast. I wanted to start this mentorship program because when I first started doing this, I didn't get to talk about this at all during the session, but someone kind of mentored me a little bit. She was out of state. I really looked up to her, and she taught me a lot and helped me go through a lot of the growing pains that a lot of us go through or are going through and will go through, okay? And so, but she was charging me. She charged me monthly for that. And I'm a very personable person. I thought we were kind of becoming friends. And so I think I was invested in this relationship as a friend and as a business mentor. And I don't know what happened, but somehow she shut me out. She doesn't speak to me anymore. She doesn't help me anymore. And nothing bad happened ever. She was one of the companies that helped me land the Starbucks jobs. So, everything was going fine, but that hurt so bad. So I want to give back to other people what was given to me, despite how it ended. She started off from a good place, and what she taught me was very valuable, and I will always be grateful for that no matter what happened. And my service is free. I'm not charging anybody a penny. So if you want help and you want advice from someone that's been there and made the mistakes and done that, and I'm still learning too, but I'll help you as best as I can, and we can learn together. I don't think there's any reason to charge you for that. It's going to come full circle or back around to me in the long run anyway, because I care about this industry. And if I can help you be the best you can be in it, that's going to help me too. So.
Right.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Ashley Russell, Ashley's Dream Cleaning out of Alvin, Texas. If you're looking for her on Google, Ashley, thanks for coming on the Not Just a Cleaning Lady podcast show with us today. It's been awesome visiting with you and getting to know you and y'all's business a little bit more. And we look forward to your continued growth and success, and visiting again with you next time on the show sometime.
Thank you, guys. It was an honor to be on. Thanks for asking me to be on here, and hope y'all have a great rest of the day, man.
Yes, ma'am.
You too, Ashley.
You too.
Great
Take
to
care,
see
y'all.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.